Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Today is November 15th, and welcome to the Morning Brew. This is our first live. Hopefully, this works out, but I am also recording it on Zoom, so in case it doesn't work out, we're going to do very, very well. Let me lower that because I do not need to hear myself, but all right. All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. So basically, what we do here, we just start looking at the day trading system I'm sharing with you. If you would like to learn more about the day trading system, I am dissecting it. There is a link that I would add to this, or if you can look to the launch on my playlist, there's two videos there with a blue background, and I break down in detail the system that we're about to dive into. But first, let's start off with some screen shares here. What are we going to do here? We're going to do some screen shares. So, okay, we're right there. All right, so let's start here. Screen some shares. All right. Desktop 2, great. And let's just dive in. All right, guys, so let's take a look here. So first off, we like to do a market sentiment and find out exactly what's going down with the overall markets here. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the S&P 500, we're looking at the Nasdaq, and we're looking at the Russell on the daily, and see what the potential plays are. So ideally, if you know me, we're looking at the MACDs, and MACDs on the dailies are telling me we're coming to the run. However, it looks like we can have a second win here and pop off. So this level on top on the dailies on the XPX is 47.20 is pretty hard. Can we break through? We don't know. Can we break through? So ideally, there's a couple of things that newsworthy events that are coming up this weekend that we have to take note of, and I'm going to go into that in a couple of seconds. Nasdaq is coming up as well, 16,455. It looks like now. Here's the thing: on Friday, I said we needed to bounce, and guess what? We got the bounce. We got the bounce. We got the bounce. So it's looking good. It's looking good. So ideally, what are we going to do for the remainder of the year? Are we going to stay in this area? Are we going to linger? Can we pop through? These are the questions you need to ask yourself to be a good, to stay ahead of the curve and find out exactly where the money flow is going. We got the bounce, guys. So ideally, don't fall asleep here. The Russell's looking a little weaker. If we can get through 24.20, then that's going to signal to us that we're going to go higher. Now, newsworthy events this week. All right. So we have retail numbers coming out this week. We got retails, I think, on Tuesday, small retails, and the big boys retail numbers like Walmart and those guys are coming out at the end of the week. Those we're going to have to look at, and there's a play with a firm, right? Because the firm does layaway plans. But there's a bigger play. There's a bigger play out there, and I discussed it last week a little bit. Guys, chips. It's all about the chips. I mentioned this to another trader on a social media platform as well. It's all about the chips. Guys, don't fall asleep on the chips. The chips started moving, and there's a couple of events coming up this week that they could go even higher. Yes, higher. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, Qualcomm came out, and they said that, yes, there is a short supply. Okay, there is a short supply. Okay, no big deal. But they also stated a keyword phrase, and if you caught it, you probably caught these moves early, and they're probably going to get better. And that is a keyword phrase. They said that the short supply is getting better, better. Okay, guys, and that's what we saw the semiconductor space go up, and I'm going to show you that in a second. All right, now, what else happened? Well, Toyota Motors came out last week in a statement and said they are going into full production, guys, full production. So what does that mean? That means that, what do you think about their chip supply? Is it getting better? Okay, so if we take all of that in consideration, and let me just jump in and show you the semiconductor space. This is a semiconductor XOX. Here it is. We saw that, is it getting better? Right? We saw the semiconductor space explode, and there's a couple of things here. So the semiconductor space, they're also having a semiconductor conference tomorrow. What are they going to talk about tomorrow? Are they going to talk about the metaverse? Are they going to talk about the short supply? Are they going to talk about how it's getting better? Interesting. And we're going to get into that. So hang on tight. I'm going to talk about the chips and where the opportunities lie at the end of the video. All right. As well as Bitcoin. All right. So let's dive into it. As you know me, we're going to go into the XPX, the overall markets, where we see it going. We see that it can go up. Now, this week is also option expiration week. So you have to make a note of that as well. We have a few notable earnings as well, but and I think it's mostly retail. What else do we have? We have some few Fed chairman speaking a little bit, but OPEX is there's an OPEX event this week. We normally have a very volatile session. And on option expiration week, we always have one major down day. It's kind of a way that they shake out the tree, kind of lock everybody up. So be careful with that. If you are trading weekly options, just make sure to add a couple of weeks so you cannot be caught in that scenario. But usually that's what happens on option expiration week. Just know that's the market maker's way of kind of messing with us. All right. So now, where are the opportunities this week? So the VIX, all right, so the VIX, this is the hourly VIX, and we're going to look at the treasury note here, okay? So I look at the hourly because I want to know if for the week, is fear going to be dissipating or is it going to be going up? So I'm going to add my levels here. So now what's going down here? So this is the 50-day, this is the hourly on the VIX. The VIX is a measurement of whether the market is buying puts or buying calls. If it goes up, that means that the market's buying more puts than calls ratio, right? That's basically what it is. It's a fear measurement. So now, as you can tell, we're dying down, right? So the area that we want to look for this week, we want to look for this area of 1776, which coincides with what I've been saying. Anything above 18 is not good for a bullish scenario. So if we stay below 1776 and keep going lower, we're going to be looking pretty good. But anything above 18, that means that fear is coming in and we have to be careful, okay? So watch that. All right. The treasury notes, the bond market is going higher. I think the market's comfortable with this 1.62. If it stays in this area, we're okay with that. If it starts creeping up a little higher, that's bad for tech, and you want to make noteworthy of that. Now, what you can do on TradingView, which I love, and a lot of people ask me, how do you keep track of all these things? Well, a beautiful thing about TradingView, I keep track of it by one simple tool. I right click and I add the alerts, right? To the alert, and it's right there. And I love the alerts because the alerts will tell me what's setting up. It also alerts me if the VIX is creeping up or if I should be paying attention, if I could be somewhere out there. If I hear it, I always come back to my computer. So watch TradingView. It's a great tool for that. All right, so let's dive in. So here we are. We're looking at the S&P 500. We're going to look at about 25 stocks and dive in. So the S&P 500, great entry. I called this out on Friday. If you got into that play, congratulations, high five. And basically what's happening now. Now, I'm noticing Apple and a couple of others, Goldman's going up. So I think we can probably have a push up. So ideally, let's see where the overall, the futures are at. The futures are at right now, currently they did a push, 46.97. We closed on Friday at 46.83. So we're probably going to gap up, probably above 47.10, 47.20. Somewhere 47.10, I would say, right underneath that. Now, the number you're going to be looking for, and I'm going to drill this into your head, you want to look at this 4 a.m. number. So this is going to serve as a key level support, 46.88 on the futures, which brings you right below 4,700. Okay, if we start creating below that, that means that we're probably going to have a pullback. All right, so that being said, now let's go back into the SPX. So more likely, we're probably going to gap up, and we're probably going to go to this next level up here, which is 47.08. Okay, are we going to hold that? More likely, I would like to see a pullback to set up and let it pull back to the 50-day moving average. Remember, we don't chase trades here. There's no FOMO trades here. If you do, that's another room. That's other people that do that. We catch the wave early, okay? So here we are. The way we do that is wait for it to come back to the 50, wait for the MACDs to bounce and bounce, okay? This is a second win, and we talk about that, but it happened overnight, okay? So overnight, good. If you're still in the trade from last week and you're still are holding on to that, you're probably going to be getting out at the open, okay, and setting up your next trade. All right. Nasdaq is probably going to gap up as well, and we're just going to look for gap ups and a pull back. Let it pull back. Let it come back to daddy and set up for the next wave up. So come back to the 50-day moving average, bounce off to zero, and then we're going to ride the wave up for today. Now, granted, I'm setting these trades up for today, but granted, if you do this over and over and over, train your eyes, you can also go into these, start realizing this and look at a longer time frame, maybe a daily chart. But when you see these things, you're going to learn how to react and ride the waves accordingly. And this is something I talked about in my video with the 50-day moving average and basically how to avoid not buying the tops. That's, I think, is the title of it. I'll put it in the link as well. All right, so Russell, I love Russell. I love where he's at. Let's see if we can set this up a little nicer. Russell is right at that 50. Again, if these things pull back and start running up, I think Russell can probably run up. The thing with the MACD, let's see if it can pull back, bounce off the 50 and bounce. Then I think the Russell can probably start going. First levels up is 24.17 on the upside. And then we have, if it can really take out that 24.20, it's going to go. But there's a play right there if it starts going up. Okay, if it starts creeping down and starts going down, I don't really suspect that's going to happen today, because I'm seeing a lot of movers today pre-market. So, but if it does, you never know. We have the downside here of 23.90. Okay, so there we go. Alphabet moving. Can it break that 3,000 level? All right, I gave it to this last week. I've been talking about this all week. I said I didn't like Google there. I was expecting a big move. Guys, if you caught that on Friday, good job. Guys, be careful who you listen to, guys. You know, I was out there and got a vet. I was talking to someone and they kind of were giving their traders bad information. They were saying that professional traders leave on Fridays, that they don't really trade on Friday. He is so wrong. He missed the moves. There's so many moves that he missed. Google moves on Fridays. He missed that move. I mean, guys, that was a play on Friday. Can it go? Okay, if it breaks 3,000, it's going to go, but let it pull back. We want high probability trades, and we want it to pull back, coming back off the 50, and let this run. It's probably going to have a second win up there, but let it pull back. Don't chase, let it base, right? That's our words. So let it pull back, let it come back to the 50, and there's other plays. There's one great play that I'm so excited about to show you guys, and I've been talking about this. All right. And Amazon, no, it's not Amazon, but Amazon looking good. Amazon, if it breaks that 35.50, it's probably going to go higher to this right there, to this 3,600, 3,608, 3,600. Watch that. It could start running. Not ideal. We'd like to see it pull back off the 50, come back to the MACDs and go. That is a beautiful, beautiful entry, and that could be probably a 50-point ripper. Yep, I said 50 points. Now, Tesla, okay, so avoid Tesla, okay? Unless you want to buy, you can probably get a discount. But Elon is selling shares, and they're doing a good operation, but he's only sold about $7 billion worth of his shares. There's another, minus 25. So you're looking at about another $18 billion. He's going on a Twitter war with Bernie Sanders. Very, very funny, very amusing. But guys, the plays aren't here. Unless you want to trade it to the downside, we do take those trades, but again, are there better plays? Now, there is a divergence here that I'm noticing. And remember, they are going to take it up because that's how they do it. They take it up, take it back down. Take it up, take it back down. They're using an algo. Remember, 85% of trading is algo. So they're using an algorithm trading to make sure that the stock doesn't fall that much. So it looks like it's probably setting up here. If it breaks that 50, it probably has 1056 on the upside, but it's downtrending, guys. So there might be little pops and then pull back, pops and pull back. So if you want this for the long term, it could be a play, but I'm probably going to stay away from this and go into something else. Again, ISRG, we talked about this the other day. This is a slow mover. Let me just tell you the move that it moved. It moved here after earnings, after a split, and then it's pulling back. It's normal full pullback. Can this start breaking up? It looks like it's probably ready to go back up to 368 from 356, but let it base. We have some headwinds up on top. We got 360. So if it pulls back, it can probably start rallying a little higher. Okay. Chipotle, I gave this to you on Friday as well. Been talking about this all week. And what did I say? If you've been following me, and you can check the tape, check the videos from the past, I said Chipotle has been sold off pretty hard, right? And I said this has a lot of real estate to cover. I said a lot of real estate to cover up here. And guess what? It covered it. Now, the trick is, can it break through? Can it break through? That's a key question. 1866. There's a lot of feet. Again, we let it chase, let it base. If it pulls back, if this pull back, because we're pretty far away, this thing had not one second win. This had a third win up here overnight, and it's still going, but it's too high for us. Let it pull back. There's probably going to be some profit takers right up there. And So think about it. How much does it cost for Chipotle to go into Chipotle? So the way they're dealing with the supply chain issues is that basically charging more for a bowl. So somebody said it's $16 for a bowl. I mean I looked it up. I went, it was like $12. It wasn't 16, but maybe tipping or something, but I don't know. But Chipotle looks good. Congratulations, home run if you got into that trade. That was a beautiful, beautiful setup. Now it let it pull back. So what we do, we wait for this thing to come back to the 50. This white line is the 50-day moving average. Let it pull back, like the MACDs come back. This is the momentum indicator. It's too far away. Let it pull back. Let it come to this zero line, right? The zero line. Then let it bounce. If we get the bounce there, then that will be a perfect setup. But I'm going to show you to that live. Land Research is part of the chip program, and I'm going to get into that a little later. Land Research is on fire, fire, fire. Okay, so Land Research, they make the machines that make the chips. So they sell the machines that make the chips. So they sell the machines to the manufacturers that make the chips. So the more machines they sell, then the more chips there are on board. So chips are on fire. Now here's the deal. We have a lot of news pending this week. If they come out and echo anything that Qualcomm said or Toyota said, that chips are getting better, the whole chip industry is going to fly. Or if they even come out and say that the chip shortage is over, we skyrocket. So this is the play. This is the area we're going to be looking at, and we're going to be looking at. Now, it's a little bit too far off for our taste. We want this to pull back. Congratulations if you got into it. This was a play on Friday that just took off. It took out these levels. This was beautiful. And this is what I mean. Bounce off a zero here, bounce off the 50, broke resistance, and took off. Now, we are flying, and this thing can even go higher. Remember, everything that you do is in chips. Chips are everywhere. Okay, so we need chips. Shopify, congratulations. Another home run for Friday. This was beautiful. And this is what I mean about the perfect setup. When it bounced off the 50-day moving average, bounce off a zero. I want you to memorize this because this is how we play these things. And took out that high of 15.11. You had a home run right here. Now let it pull back. I think this can go again. Yes, it can go again, but let it pull back. If it comes back to the 50 and we get a bounce, comes back off a zero and bounces off of there and takes out that high, right, of 1676, it's gone. Yep, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. All right, so that's the setup right there. Print that. Netflix, another one that we gave you. This was beautiful. Again, bounce off a zero, bounce off the 50, took out the resistance, 666, and boom, it was gone. Now, do not chase. Let it base. Let it pull back to the 50. Let's see if this comes back and bounces. That can go. That's also gone. And notice they're right next to one another. Okay, Roku. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Roku, but I do like the price action on it. But Roku, they took it down far enough. Can they take it back up? That's a key question. Now, again, it took off on Friday. There was other plays. I didn't take this play, but you could have taken that play, and it's gone. It's going to open up higher. There's probably going to be some profit takers up there. Let it chase. Let it base. Do not chase. Let it come back to the 50. See how it reacts there. If it comes back to the zero, that might be another play if you want to set it up. Okay, so it's probably like maybe at the open, maybe at lunch, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Nvidia. Okay, so Nvidia, this is going to be part of the conference that's happening tomorrow, the semiconductor conference. And I think AMAT announces earnings on Thursday, and that's a big player in that chip industry. They're a little bit more conservative, but if they echo anything in their earnings call that chips are getting better, this can also fly. So now, why is Nvidia important? Well, they're a big player with Roblox in the metaverse, and metaverse has been a big it's been in the news a lot. It's been in the Twitter chat. It's out there. Okay, so we're gonna watch it. So how do we set up Nvidia? Now, Nvidia does have some bad news as well, but I don't think it's affecting the stock price. As you can tell, it's going higher. So now, and it's been sold off, so we're off the highs at 327. So all right, so let's see if we can set this up. So Nvidia right here, bounce off a zero, but it's overnight. If it can take out this 307 but we're too far away from the 50. If it can come back from the 50, bounce off a zero and bounce, that can probably start going higher to this previous day's highs of 327. All right, but that's not the way that play I was looking for. The play I was actually super excited for today is this one, Mercado Libre. It's a South America of it's the Amazon of South America. Okay, so now we took this play a long time ago. We took it here and it went up beautifully. We locked this in a couple of weeks ago. It was a beautiful play. High five to the ones that took it, and it's pulling back. Now it sold off pretty hard, but however, it's setting up. Look at that, bouncing off a zero, bouncing off the 50 pre-market. If it can take this high of 1607, it's probably going to go. Now you got 1628, and then you got, wow, 1700. Woo! Yeah, baby. That's the one we like. I'm going to set that one up. That's going to be the play that I'm going to be looking for this week today. All right, Apple taking off pre-market. Remember, if Apple's going up, the XPX is not going down. Okay, Apple going up, XPX goes up. Goldman Sachs going up, XPX goes up. It's not going down. Tesla is part of the XPX, but again, Elon's just selling, and it's not like bad news sell. Okay, so again, Apple setting up pre-market. Again, let it pull back. Now, Apple's a slow mover. I just only have it because a lot of people like it. We have some headwinds up here at 151. If it can take out 151, it's probably going to go. But again, let's see. Apple thrives around this season. This is the season of Apple. Let's see what happens here. It is a slow mover, but let's see. If it starts breaking down to 50, then it's probably going to go down to these levels of 148, 147. So keep that. All right. The sleeper, Trade Desk. Now, why is Trade Desk up here? Well, real simple. Trade Desk does ads, okay? So if you want to get into the ad space, Facebook said that they got affected by the iOS privacy issue, okay? Google did not get affected, and Trade Desk did not get affected. Actually, in their earnings call, they guided up, and they also stated that what? They said that they were not affected by the Apple iOS privacy issue. So this is why it's going up, and you got to watch it. It moves slow. The options are super cheap. But again, you had a ripper here, but we have a number up here. If it takes out that 101, it can probably go to 106, 109, okay? Again, it's probably let it set up, if it comes back here, bases off the 50, bouncing off the zero, this can also run. But if you want to get into the ad space, this is the one for you. Okay, let's go into Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs moving up nicely pre-market. Remember, Goldman Sachs is a big part of it is of the banking of the S&P 500. So if this is up, this is not. If this is up, S&P is not going to go down. So what do we have here? Again, it rallied as well on Friday. Man, okay, we had a beautiful bounce near the close right there. As you can tell, these are the ones we like to say. I'm just going to point it out to you. We're looking for this, bouncing off the 50, bouncing off zero. The MACDs tell us that the swing is about to begin. It's coming to the end. It could have a second win. Let it have second win. Don't chase. Let it base. Let it come back to the 50. We have this level up here of 407. If it can bounce off the 50, bounce off a zero, take that 407, it's probably going to go to this previous day's highs of what do we got up here? We have the highs of, remember, 426. We got some headwinds around the 414, 415. All right. Affirm. Now, why is Affirm up here? Well, it's real simple. We got retail sales coming out this week, right? If they start saying anything that Affirm is working, even though I don't understand the layaway plan on this, nobody has responded to me and tell me how it works. What happens when people don't pay, right? But so far, again, we don't trade we trade the price action. I don't trade opinions, right? Opinions are like, whatever, everybody has one, but we trade the price action. So the key level we're going to be looking for is 153. This is a setup pre-market that we love, but it is pre-market. It's too far away. Well, not too far away. 140, 151 for the move. Let it pull back. Let's see what happens at the 50. And if it can take out the previous eight as at 153, we're going to have this area of 160. And then we can probably go to the highs up here of 176. Okay. Upstart came out with good earnings. Good earnings as well. This is the competitor to Affirm. They have an AI component. The only thing I didn't like about their earnings play was that they have slow growth. Their growth is slowing down. But hey, This thing did not sell off. Let it pull. It's looking prime. It's got a lot of real estate to cover up here as well. Now it's setting up. If it can bounce off the zero, bounce off this 50 and break that of 266, it can go. And where can it go? Whoa. Woo. All right. I'm going to say 321 and 336. This thing can go. It can go. It's got a lot of real estate up there. So put that on there. Track it. Keep track of that because that one can go. HubSpot. We took this one up from the lows off its earnings play and it took off. It looks like it wants to go a little higher. Keep this on your track. Keep this on your list. I'm going to see this because it got some headwinds up here of, what do we got? We got this 853. We're currently at 841. A lot of headwinds. We need to pull back a little bit. Don't like it. We need to pull back. Let it pull back and see if it can take a crack at that. We're going to need some force to break through that level. Right now, we don't have enough force to break through it. So again, let it pull back. There's other greater plays. All right, Zoom, another one. Got suppressed, got sold off pretty hard. It's got 291 on top. Now, this is another one that if it can get going, right, it's showing that there's some buyers coming in. Maybe it's Kathy Wood. I don't know. But it looks like it can start running. Now, it's a little bit too far away. It based nicely, right? This is what I mean. Let it base. Do not chase. We don't chase. Let it come back. Now, pre-market, let it come back down to the 50-day moving average, 254. If it can start breaking some highs here, bouncing off the zero, this can be one setting up for this week. Again, so the top, we got 259. Now, this will probably change day by day. So just check in with me every day because, again, if it doesn't go today, it could go later on this week. But this is one that I'm going to set a lot of alerts on at 259 and 266. So this one is another one that I'm keeping my eye on. Now, bookings. Okay, travel stocks. This one got suppressed, right? Came out with some earnings. They said that the Europe market was opening up. But then I'm noticing this weekend that the Europe is closing down again. I don't know what's going down. So if you're from Europe, let me know what's going down. Are you closed? Are you open? I don't know. But if you can, right now, booking, they took it down. They're taking it down. It looks like there's a divergence here. Let's see if it can go. Again, it's probably let it base right now. Probably need a day or two to let it base. And this could probably be setting up just like a test, a Netflix or Shopify and Mercado Libre. This could be setting up, but just needs a little bit more time. Now, ServiceNow. Oh my God. So again, great earnings, great guidance, and they're taking it up. They took it down, take it up. This could be probably some insider selling off, locking in some gains, and they're probably going to take it up. Watch that 707 because all the upgrades on this thing has been in the 800 level. That's the reason why I got it up here, and I got my alerts up here, but it can go. So if you want to get in pre-early, we can set this up, let it come back to the 50, let it pull back to the zero line on the MACDs, and it could bounce, and let's see if it can break through that 700 level, okay? Now, if you do take that trade, let's remember, if we're taking that 687, let's say, and it goes up to 700, there's a possibility it could sell off. So how do we manage our position? Real simple. You lock in your gains at 700, and if it gets through, you roll up. Remember, rolling up is part of a strategy that we always lock in our gains. Remember that, okay? Now, Coinbase, taking it up. They're taking it up. Okay, Coinbase came out. They remember this is all about crypto. Let it pull back. It's coming back down to the zero, coming back to the 50. If it bounces off here, this can probably go higher. So watch that. Keep it on your list. And remember, it needs to bounce. If it doesn't bounce, it goes lower. So just keep that in mind. Don't fall in love. Like, just focus on the strategy. Okay, what else? That's all we got. We're going to go into the semiconductor space. So here we are. All right. So we got the semiconductor space. Here's my list of the stocks I'm looking at. So we got Nvidia. I already covered that. We got AMD. So AMD is looking pretty good. I'm going to go into the 15-minute time frame to see if we have any setups. Okay, AMD. There's an alert over here. We got 148 alerted. If it pulls back, remember with the news, this thing could bounce. If it pulls back, bounces off of here and breaks this 148, it can go. So there's my alert, guys. Boom. We got Qualcomm setting up nicely, moving up pre-market, looking pretty good, taking out the highs right here of previous of 166. it can run. Now, where can it go? 169. If it takes out that 169, it's going to go. Again, waiting on news on that conference. If that conference comes out with anything good news, this thing can also run. I don't really like the way it is. It could have a second win up here, but let it pull back. We want the high probability trade. I would like it to come back to the 50. Let this pull back at the 0 and let it go. Okay, LRCX. Also moving pre-market. We talked about this already, but I want to see this come back to the 50. It looks like I have a second win, moving nicely pre-market. But watch it. They're probably gonna be locking in gains there. ASML. Again, move it up nicely. Again, this one could be bouncing off 0. I don't like it. I would like to pull back, but if it breaks that 858, it's going to run. This could be the one that's going to run. It's going to run. It's going to run. This is the competitor of LRCX. Remember, they make the machines. Okay, Intel, moving nicely. Look at this. Intel. What am I telling you? Fire, fire, fire. Second win going off. Too late, too late, too late. This is one that I got the alert on Friday. Actually, during my setup at the market pull, because this is where I do the follow-ups, we got the alert on this to go long, and we locked in some gains on this as well. Now, again, I didn't held on to it over the weekend. I should have, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. We don't play that game. Now it's coming back. Let it come back. Let it come back to the 50. It's running. It's running. There's gonna be a lot of profit takers up there. Remember, this thing ran Friday 611 to 634. So let it pull back. It's probably gonna have a second win, but we want it off the 0 here. Roblex. This is another metaverse. Okay, metaverse play. If it looks like it's gonna take out that 110 area, is looking good. All right, nice setup. Lock this one in. Bouncing off the 0. If it can, I'm sorry, bouncing off 0. I got bouncing off 0, bouncing off the 50. Do you see that? I know you do. If it can run, if it bounces, it's probably going to run. Now, what does it need to take out? It needs to take out this 110. We're at 109. If it takes out 110, bounces, this thing is going to run. Okay, Lucid, what do we got? Lucid coming out with earnings this week. Is Lucid over? They came out with some news this week, and that was good. I don't really suspect this is going to move that much because they only sold about, very few cars, right? So I think that where we're going to see the Lucid run is in next quarter when they start showing us how much cars they delivered. But until then, they're coming out with earnings. It is moving market, pre-market. By the way, this box is a weekly boxes. I do that to let me know what range are we in for the week. So remember, Lucid had a high of $48. Now, if you notice, Lucid is moving, and this is something you should know if you're going to trade something. Know the movements of this thing per week, right? So 33 to 42. It's moving about $9 and maybe a little $10, $12 here so far. This thing was only moving $2. So again, there's a lot of activity, but just know you don't want to get in at the highs. No FOMO trading, but it looks good. Bouncing close to the 0, bouncing there, but it's got some headwinds at this 44 area and then this $45 area. There's a lot of better plays out there. Rivian, covering this because people want to know it. Again, we don't have a lot of supply. That candlestick looks weak. Let it pull back. Again, it's got 135 to be better. And the way I play Rivian, if you want to play this, again, MACDs are pulling back. Let it pull back. Let it pull back. You don't want to buy at the highs. Snow taking off. We had a beautiful play up here. Let me look at here. Let me look at the 15-minute time frame. And Snow taking off. Again, let it pull back, let it come back to the 50-day moving average, and again, that can set up. AMAT, this is remember, this one's announcing earnings on Thursday. Keep track of this one because if they come out with any news saying that chips are getting better, or things are getting better, or anything related to the short supply getting better, or it's over, this thing can take off. Now, there is about a 10% chance that they can say things are bad and chips go down. Everything goes down. So be careful of that. Remember, there's always news pending. We're just looking at the order flow, but I'm just kind of doing the thesis of what things can happen. All right. But overall, we know that they're competitors. We know that Toyota, other manufacturers saying they're getting better. And we've been talking about short supply for a long, long time. Okay. All right. Bitcoiners, what's up, Bitcoiners? We're going to go into this realm right now. All right. Let's go into it. Here we are. Bitcoiners, here's the year of the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is looking nice. It's looking for another, but we have some headwinds up here. Again, it's looking nice, but look at the price action. Price action is going up. MACDs are pulling back. Now let it pull back. Let it pull back. Same way, this is the daily part on Bitcoin. Again, same thesis. We like the moving average going up. I would like to see Bitcoin at the 50-day moving average. I would like to see this bouncing off the zero and bounce, and that's where a place where I will personally add more layers to my Bitcoin position. Okay, so that's where I'm looking at. It can go, it can fly, but I don't want to chase. I want to ride the wave. And again, if you want to see how I trade the 50-day moving average, there's a link. Again, I believe I just set it up this Friday. Go on my playlist. It's under launch and look on there. It's a really, really great video describing of the plays that I do on Bitcoin and the 50-day moving average. Okay, MicroStrategy working lower because I think this is going to go lower. So MicroStrategy, let it go lower. Okay, it's basing. So we got this 837 on top of MicroStrategy. And again, we have MicroStrategy because they own a ton of Bitcoin. So again, it moves in relation to Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum looking weak. Remember, we broke the MACDs. I had a monster run. Let it pull back. Let it pull back. There was some news this weekend. I'm not familiar with the Bitcoin. Something about Bitcoin and forking or something like that. That's probably heard Ethereum. How real that is, I don't know. If you know about that, put it down in the comments and let me know. All right. All right, guys. That's all we got, guys. That is all we have. It is 9:21. Hopefully that you got enough setups for today. We went live. If you like what you see so far, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button. Press that like button. And also share this because remember, abundance breeds abundance. That's my philosophy here. The more you share it, the more abundantful you will get received. And also press that notify button because I'm planning to do this tomorrow going live. All right, guys. Do me a favor. God bless. Stay green. And go get it.